Hey, what's up guys? Slick or Slickmoff here. I'm back again with another video, and in this one I want to break down your guys' thoughts and my thoughts on what Rocksteady game we would like to see next. Of course, Rocksteady, the developers of the Batman Arkham trilogy, Batman Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Knight, they're working on another game. We don't know what that is, and I posted out what game would you like to see from them. And The Flash actually was defeated by Superman, which is what I thought. I did post this poll on Twitter. Unfortunately, I can't find the results for it, so I apologize for everybody that voted on there. The poll on Twitter was actually much closer than here on YouTube, and out of 1,500 of you that voted, Superman did win rather handsomely. And I will say that I think that this is probably my choice, although I would be very happy with the Flash game as well. What surprised me is that Wonder Woman was really low. I thought that she would be better or higher up, especially because her movie was so successful. But I think that people really want to see a Superman game, so I totally understand why that is the case. So I want to read some comments and why some people want to see a Superman over, you know, any other game, Flash, whether it be anything else. There's a lot of games they could make, but I think in terms of what is commercially viable, you know, for instance, a lot of people say they want like a Robin game, which could be cool. I think it probably serves better as like a DLC for a core Batman game, for another Batman game. And that's another video I'll be making soon as well, is whether people actually want a new Batman game. That poll is up now in my subscription feed, so if you want to vote on that and voice your opinions, then you'll be featured in that video just as people will be for this one. Okay, so let's get into what people think about this game. Superman deserves his chance to shine in a modern AAA game. That's what Tom says. There's so much they could do nowadays with his power set in his world. Absolutely. I think that one of the biggest problems with the Superman game is the notion that he's almost too powerful to design a game for, right? And there's something to be said of that. So I think that really in the story you have some way to depower him, and he becomes more powerful increasingly. So what we see in the Batman Arkham games, for instance, right? He becomes more powerful Batman as he unlocks more things. And you could sort of have this plot where we're powerful at the very beginning, full maximum power. And then at some point in the story, in the first hour, he becomes depowered. And he increasingly becomes more powerful towards the end of the game as he has to fight increasingly harder bosses. But he does not have the peak of his powers at the beginning of the game, because then you couldn't really create any enemies that would be a match to Superman. Unless they all had kryptonite, which would get kind of annoying. I'm honestly mind blown any of these characters do not have their own series, but Soup seems to be the next logical step. I would have to agree with you, Julie. It would be interesting to see so Lex Luthor, Zod, Brainiac, but also think about what other heroes we could have, right? Beyond Superman, Supergirl, Superboy, you know, I mean, there's so many people, Mon-El, so many great people we could have, and that's what would be awesome. And a lot of people are saying that this is the next logical step. That's what Seamus says. Seamus Mintram Superman. And I would happen to agree with that. So Luke Wayne voted for, or excuse me, Seamus voted for Superman. Luke Wayne voted for The Flash. The Flash would be good because there was a Flash game that was canceled years ago. I think that the super speed mechanic would be fun and creative, like how they did with Batman's gadgets. And since Flash is such a lovable character, it would sell a lot. I think it would sell very well. I think that Superman's also a lovable character, though, too, right? I mean, definitely the Flash is a little bit more comedic and like jovial, but you know, the Superman character is a very likable character, especially when done correctly. And even though he can get pissed off if, you know, you're going to try to kill a bunch of people, as a general rule, he's very hopeful and optimistic, which I think that they could portray very well as well. I think Superman or a Flash game would be very hard to make because they're way too OP. I think that's definitely something that people have said. I disagree about a Flash game being too OP. I think that a Flash game may be hard to develop simply by nature of him moving so quickly, but not OP because you keep in mind that the Flash, if he gets shot, it's just like if you or I were to get shot, right? I mean, he has some armor depending on which version of the character we're talking about, but it's not like Superman. Superman literally he's Superman. He can be shot by anything. He's the Man of Steel, pretty much impenetrable, besides this one green rock that comes from outer space that can hurt him. Besides that, he's pretty much invincible, and we see that with Flash. That's not the case for him. I mean, even if he's moving super duper fast, if he still gets shot, or, you know, a grenade throws that, you know, whatever, there's so many different ways that he can actually get hurt or hit by a car. I mean, there's so many different things. So I agree with you that Superman would be hard to make because he's way too OP. The Flash, I kind of disagree a little bit, especially if we have speedster villains that can keep up with the Flash in terms of how fast we are, if those villains are equally as quick. Jesuits Our Savior says, I would love a Flash game in the Arkham universe, and I would hope that whether it be Superman or the Flash, both of these games would exist in the Arkham universe. Thank you for your question, Jesus our Savior, or Jesus is our Savior, sorry. Master Gamer, I would love to see... Sorry, Jesus is our Savior. I'm a dumbass. My apologies. Master Gamer, I would love to see a Flash game. His super speed would be so cool. Absolutely. Green Arrow. So our first Green Arrow from Miles. Green Arrow hasn't been done justice in any media besides comics so far. I would have to agree with you. I think the show, he resembles Batman more than Green Arrow. Rocksteady should show his true character, give him more mainstream appeal. Yeah, I think that the issue there is that he kind of has to already have a little bit of mainstream appeal before they make a multi-million-dollar game, right? Because that's a lot of risk. I think he does have multimedia appeal from the show, but it's just not of who the character really is, if that makes sense. Like, people know the name Arrow, but they don't know who the character Green Arrow truly is, which is kind of an issue. Batman 69,000. If the gameplay was like Horizon Zero Dawn mixed with Arkham Knight, a Green Arrow game would be very cool. You know, it's interesting you say that. This is the robot dinosaur game, and, you know, it's actually a very good point, and I think that it shows a lot of potential for that game. Mobdish Gaming says, imagine they make a CW-type universe in an open-world setting with the Flash, Green Arrow, Firestorm. They kind of already made this game. It's called DC Universe Online. So check that out. I mean, that's basically what you're describing. John T, because he's the Flash. He votes for the Flash because he's the Flash, I feel. I feel like you can make that same exact comment for Superman, but, you know, it's chill. It's going to happen. We all know they could either have a 10 out of 10 game or a shitty game like Superman 64. And I actually think Apprehension's totally right here. It really is going to be like the best game ever, best comic book game ever, or it could really kind of suck and get stuck in development hell and take like 8 years to be made because it's just so complicated, right? And we'll have to see which of those it is, if they're even going that direction. We'll just have to wait and see. The DC guy, I like the name. It was extremely difficult choosing between Superman and the Flash, since both are great characters, and they have great extensive rogue galleries, but I went with Superman because he is the most iconic. Absolutely. I mean, I've said this time and time again. Superman is the greatest superhero ever made. He is the superhero. You know, Batman is my favorite and all, and I have a bias towards him, but to say that Superman is not the best superhero ever made, I mean, he's the symbol of hope. The S on his chest, which of course is not an S, as he'll tell you, but that, you know, Superman logo is one of the top 3 most recognizable symbols in the entire world, along with the McDonald's arches and one other that I can't remember, maybe like the Google emblem. So I say this to say that, you know, Superman is iconic. He's the greatest superhero ever made. He's the greatest fictional character ever made. I love Batman and all, but Superman is just so iconic, and the fact that he doesn't have a good game is criminal, and I really hope that Rocksteady can correct it. And if anybody can make a great Superman game, it is freaking Rocksteady, the greatest developer for superhero video games on the planet, and I really want to see them take on Superman and the Flash too. And it kind of stinks because I want them to do like a trilogy of whichever character they do, right? Because I think that they get better with every game. And some people will say Arkham Knight wasn't as good as Arkham City, but as a general rule, you know, they figure out more things they want to do and can improve on their engine. If they only do like one Flash game and one Superman game, then you can't really have as fulfilling of an arc for that character. So I do hope that they space them out with a trilogy for maybe the Flash and Superman over the next 2 decades. I know that's, you know, we're going to be old people by then, but, you know, it might be worth the wait. We'll see. Okay, Jericho says, I love the Flash ever since the show on the CW, Justice League animated series. Absolutely. I mean, the Flash is a great character. They tried, it got canceled. Absolutely. I don't know if they could draw on what they had for that Flash game, but either way. JRMC, a game where you run that fast isn't Sonic. I love Sonic Team, but come on, be focused on gameplay instead of DeviantArt. Amazing storylines with a rogue gallery that rival Batman and Superman. I would say that, you know, in terms of Flash for Superman, it's definitely competitive in terms of the rogue gallery. I'd probably give it to Superman. With Doomsday, Zod. I mean, there's a lot of great characters. I mean, Brainiac is mainly a Superman villain. But Flash has great villains as well, a little bit more grounded, right? Captain Boomerang, you have Captain Cold, of course. So I totally agree that they would have a lot to go off there with Flash. Being able to run around Central City and use Flash powers would be cool. Bailey, I'll give you the same advice as who I gave earlier. I can't remember who it was. Check out DC Universe Online. It has great mechanics where you can run as a speedster and create your own speedster. Very fun game, and you can run around Metropolis and Gotham. It's pretty sweet, so check it out. Velocity 22. Honestly, the Flash has so much potential from the storylines and the villains they could use. Absolutely. I mean, I agree with you 1000%. I would choose this game, Superman, because would have more villains and ROCKSTEADY would do a good job. I think that ROCKSTEADY could do a good job with either of them, Mr. Awesome reacts, but I do agree with you. They could do great things. Superman is more logical because his game would sell more. This is interesting that you say that, Cyborg, because even though Superman won the poll on my channel, which, you know, obviously a lot of people voted in, and on Twitter, I believe Superman won, but just barely by 1%, The Flash is an intensely popular character. So many people love him right now, and you would probably be surprised at how many people actually would maybe prefer Flash over Superman, right? And I don't know that Superman is guaranteed to sell more. I feel like he should, in theory, because for the reasons I mentioned, he's the greatest and most iconic superhero ever made, but people really love The Flash. People love his supporting gallery as well. People like Supergirl and Mono, but Superman is mainly a one-man show, whereas you have The Flash, you have, you know, him interacting with, you know, Kid Flash and all these different people that he has on his side, Iris, that I think a lot of people really, really enjoy, and that's why a lot of people like the ensemble nature of the Flash television show. Alexa, she says, or maybe he, I'm not sure. The Flash would be amazing, not just story-wise, but gameplay-wise as well. I really hope they make Flash games. Absolutely. Manula Khan. Combat would be similar as well as transversal for Green Arrow. I don't think it would happen, but maybe it could be in the Arrowverse. This is where you lose me. I'm gonna have to disagree with you, Amanula. Unfortunately, I do not agree with taking it into the Arrowverse. I think that video games tied into movie universes or anything like that, anything besides the comic universe, is a really, really bad idea. And even then, it's best to just have things go out on their own. But that's just my personal opinion. I really want to find a Wonder Woman vote. I'm gonna actually search. Okay, it appears that people may have voted for Wonder Woman, but nobody actually commented advocating for her. So, sorry, Wonder Woman, you do not get any comments. I'm seeing a lot of Superman, Green Arrow, and The Flash obviously being the main ones. Superman and Flash being the most common. We want to play as Superman. I absolutely agree. And as I said, if I'm going to have to give my personal vote, I'm going to go ahead and say Superman. But it's very close. I would love to see a Flash game. I would not complain in the slightest. I wouldn't say, oh, I wish we got a Superman game. No, I would be ecstatic. I'd be like, hell yeah, we get a ROCKSTEADY Flash game. I'm here for this. And either one I'd be totally happy with. I think that even Green Arrow I would be happy with. So in order, I would be most happy with Superman, The Flash, Wonder Woman, and then Green Arrow last. Nothing against Green Arrow. It's just that I think that his gameplay would resemble Batman a good amount, to the point that it almost is like it's not enough of a change. Obviously, we're shooting arrows instead of punching people. That's a big difference in and of itself. But in terms of like stealth, I feel like they would do a lot of the same things. We do have a lot of games where you play as people with bow and arrows. I just feel like playing as somebody like Wonder Woman or Superman or The Flash is just unprecedented, and it's something I really want to see from ROCKSTEADY. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm sorry I did not get to reading everybody's comments, but I did get a ton here, and I wanted to make sure I could get through as many as I could and not keep you guys too long. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Who do you want to see for ROCKSTEADY's next game? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. My name is SlickMoth, and I'll see you guys in the next one.